Hey everybody, Jeff Reinhardt here, LMP and Lancaster Online. Welcome into the LF Football Roundtable, brought to you by Auto House of Lancaster. It's week 12, Tyler, week 12 of LL football, and that means playoffs. 1 week of playoffs in the books. We had the early round games last week. 4 LLL teams advanced. Now we're in week 12. Bunch of teams had byes, so a lot of teams will be playing for the first time this week, including this team right here. Hello from Manheim Township. Blue Streaks having a whale of a season. 10-0, Section 1 champs, number 1 seed in the District 3 6A bracket. They will get started on Friday here at home against York. Every team needs a defensive kid with a big ticker who will blitz and bum rush the backfield, give up his body, and make tackles. That kid is right here. Come on in for Manheim Township. He's Eli Rodriguez, and he's having an awesome season for Manheim Township. Eli, how are you, bud?
I'm doing good. Great to be here.
Good. Awesome. Week off. I often wonder, you're in a pattern, man. Let's go. Friday night. And then you had to sit for a week. What's it been like having an extra week to kind of get ready and rest your body up a little bit?
Well, yeah, kind of like you just said, it is great. 10 weeks, you come out with some bumps and bruises. So to get an opportunity to, rest up, heal, but also a great opportunity to, nitpick what we have, pick out some things that we need to work on, and really just a great opportunity to get better.
I think a lot of people look at your team and they say, ooh, that Hayden Johnson's really good, and that Landon guy catches a lot of touchdowns. But if you thumb through the stats and you get to the defensive pages, your defense has been just as great as your offense. Yeah. Please give your D some love. And what's it like playing defense for this team?
Honestly, playing defense for this team, you might think that there's like a little lack of love, but from our coaches, from our players, from our teammates, it's, the love is surely like spread. Obviously great opportunities at practice to go against these guys, really make you better. And I think that really is something that speaks greatly to our success is competition and really just, getting better against each other. Coach Evans always loves to say iron sharpens iron, and we like to live by that.
What are the bus rides like? What is the locker room like? Fun? I mean, winning is fun, man. I'm sure your bus rides are a trip. But what's it like still? Because this is like including HEDAC and camp and everything. This is like 15, 16 weeks you guys have been together. You still having fun? And what's the camaraderie like with this group?
I mean, it's just a connection beyond like any feeling. Like I've played now for 3 years, and the other years, like I felt the connection, but it's not as strong as it's been this year. And it's really just like the friendships that we make outside of football as well, always doing stuff on the weekends, watching football, whatever. But really just the connection that we have in the locker room, bus rides, it comes from out of school stuff.
Break it down for me. What kind of game do you expect with York? And what do you guys got to do, especially to make sure you take care of your business and make them chase you all night?
I think they're really athletic, and they play all-man coverage really around on defense. So it's something different because most teams that we've played have just been playing zone coverage. So we got to adapt to that, and we got to run the ball well to get away from that. What's
that like being the top dog here going into districts?
I think I can speak pretty confidently for the team, and, we love it. We love to know that we get everyone's best game. We don't want anybody when they're slack and when their best players aren't ready to go. We want the best games. We want the competition. We're here to, grind it out. And when it's done, we don't want anybody to be able to say, oh, well, this and that and this. We want your best game. We want it all because we're coming.
Thanks to the folks at Manheim Township who have been rolling, and we spent some time, Jeffrey spent some time with them heading into the first round of district playoffs in 6A, and lots of other stuff. We'll get into that in a moment. This is the LL Football Roundtable brought to you by Auto House of Lancaster. To my left is Jason Guarente, to my right is Jeffrey Reinhardt, and I'm Mike Gross. We're going to talk about district playoffs. 6 games last week, 10 games this week. We're going to kind of go class by class. So we don't get too bogged down here. 6A, which nobody played last week.
Nope.
Manheim Township, the aforementioned, undefeated, and they play. They're number 1 seed, and they play the 8 seed York, which is 6-3. It's been blown out 3 times, and was blown out in their last 2 games.
Yes.
So I think Township is, a force. Also in 6A, Cedar Crest, 8-2. Again, they are the 7th seed against 2nd seeded Harrisburg. That game on Saturday. And then Cumberland Valley. It seems inevitable that I'm going to say Conestoga when I mean Cumberland, but I sort of kind of did that there, and I'm going to move on with my life now. Against Wilson. Wilson is 7-3, the 5 seed. Cumberland Valley 6-4, and somehow seeded ahead of Wilson. A very strange season. They were 1-4 early and got thumped a lot. But anyway, so that's 6A. Jason, your thoughts?
Township, big favorite.
Township
is
stepping out on the ledge there, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, the other top contenders in the bracket, they've beaten them all already.
They have.
It really comes down to...
Yeah, that's true.
It comes down to whether they can beat them again. It'll be a rematch against Wilson or Cumberland Valley in the semis, and then potentially with Harrisburg in the final. And we'll see if, I guess, the regular season is predictive of the postseason.
Last time out for Township, Wilson scored four second-half touchdowns.
34 points,
so is that a little bit of a chink in the armor, maybe?
Maybe a smidge.
Defensively.
If one team in the league was going to give them any kind of a fight, tussle, it was going to be Wilson.
And they didn't stop them. You know, they didn't stop their offense, which nobody's close to doing.
They still scored.
But I think that was a little bit of an eyelid raiser for me, that eyebrow raiser, whatever, that they scored. They at least scored on it. Okay, but anyway, we sort of feel like Township is the number 1 seed here.
Yeah.
They're the favorite. Harrisburg has played pretty well. Here's an interesting thing, though. Common opponent between Cedar Crest and Harrisburg, Central Dauphin East. Cedar Crest beat them 33-7. Harrisburg barely got by them, 34-27.
How about that?
That was fairly recently. That was in the second half of the season. All right, okay. 5A, we have all LL games in 5A. How about this? Effort of the 5 seed, 10-1 against Garden Spot, the 4 seed, 9-1. Effort with a big win. First in school history, right?
First playoff win in school history.
And the other game in 5A is Cocalico, the 3 seed, but we all think a force in this class against Conestoga Valley, the 6 seed, 9-2. Ryan, you saw Ephrata. What do you think?
Oh, that was just so fun, that atmosphere. Lower Dauphin had a 13-8 lead like forever. First 3 times Ephrata had the ball in the second half. 4th down, out on downs. Turned them over on downs.
They
First
went
3 times.
on 4th down and didn't make it.
3 straight times.
Where were they in the field?
Midfieldish.
Midfieldish.
It wasn't
okay,
like
well,
they
that
were.
Makes sense to go for.
Sure. And then they finally everything came together. They got the big drive in the 4th quarter, 70 yards, 7 plays, and McCracken completed a couple big passes.
Says something for their defense, right?
Yes.
That they can do that, give the ball up at midfield 3 times in a row.
Yep, and Coach Miller trusted that D. They played great. They held LD on 4th down a couple of times. Ephrata gets the lead with 4 or 5 minutes left. Comes up big on D late, and they win. Now they get the rematch with Garden Spot.
Garden Spot probably a little bit more weapons offensively, though, than Lower Dauphin.
Yeah, certainly. And they already played once, and it was a 20-point game in the regular season. Garden Spot was home for that one. They're home again for this one, and they have the week off as opposed to that knockdown fight that Ephrata had to survive.
We had a couple teams in our league this year that kind of have had really surprising bounce-back seasons, or I don't know if bounce-back is the right word. Conestoga Valley's another one of those,
CB's
right?
been great.
And now they get a big.
Oh, sure. Sure, they get the defending champ at Cocalico. CV's been awesome. Put up 40 points last week against Dover.
And they defend pretty well, it seems
They
like.
do. They're a very sneaky good defensive team. Jaden Johnson returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown last week. They do stuff like that. They get a pick 6. They get a fumble at a key time. Big test here. Cocalico, Jason can attest. You've seen him a bunch. They've been hurt, man. I think the bye week helped them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, 4A?
Anyone?
4A, anyone? Lampeter Strasburg, the 5th seed, 8-2 versus East Pennsboro, which is 9-1. And this is a team that to me is a wild card in this.
A little bit, yeah.
I can't tell from their schedule how legit they are, but I don't know. I think LS would be favored to win this game, but what do you think?
Their defense is really good.
Yeah.
LS has given up 79 points in 10 games. That's really good. 173 yards a game against. East Penn's been good. They were 6-0, 7-0 before they lost. I think
they were 9-0.
Yeah, it might have been. And they were state ranked for a good chunk of the year. Keith Oates is a kid you need to know. 2,000 passing yards and 100 tackles. Who does that?
Nobody.
2,000 passing and 100 tackles? Middle backer? That's pretty good. I think if LS can play its D game here, I think they're safe, but they got to score. But yeah, I like Pioneers here.
Next one is an all LL, and it's another one of these teams that has had a remarkable kind of surprise season. Elko. 8-3 against Twin Valley, 9-1, and again, this is similar to the CV Cocalico thing. I think the matchup here. Jason, what do you got?
Jake Williams went wild in the first round of districts. Big win for Elko, huge for the program.
Agreed.
A district game, but now it's another animal. Twin Valley's a higher level of competition. Twin Valley only has one loss, one of those tri-champions.
How do they defend the run? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, well, the one game I saw Twin Valley, they played Garden Spot, and Garden Spot doesn't have a Jake Williams, it'll be interesting. But the thing about Twin Valley is they're offensively they're so good, and they have the dual threat running back, and they pile up points quickly. So you can't play from behind against them, and that's going to be Elko's challenge.
Yeah, a lot of runs in this game. Yeah. Whoa, rush D, best rush D wins. Jake Williams. 230 rushing yards for 5,000. Yeah. That's a pretty good.
He's over 2,000 this year.
Over 2,000 this year. And don't forget, he missed like all of his sophomore season with an injury. So he'd easily been a 5,000-yard kid already.
Okay, and I'm supposed to mention all these games in each class before we talk about them, but I failed to do that. But Manheim Central, also in 4A, Manheim Central against Susquehanna Township. Central is the 3 seed. 9-1, actually 8-1 for district purposes because one of the games was non-PIAA. And Susquehanna, the 6th seed, Susquehanna Township, the 6th seed, 7-3. Susquehanna was really down just a couple years ago.
Yeah, they were.
Below down. They were, and so they've done a nice job of getting back into it. What do you know about this one, Ryan?
I know that Susquehanna Township's 3 losses are by a combined 5 points.
Yeah.
So they're like this close from 10-0.
Milton Hershey, Mechanicsburg, East Pennsboro.
Yeah, I don't know if they played the schedule that Manheim Central's played. Barons have really stepped up that non-league. Wow. Yeah. Barons, Eldon Ratu, November playoff game.
Eldon Ratu.
How do you not pick the Barons here?
The Manheim Magic.
Yeah, it's something about them in the playoffs.
Can Manheim go about things quietly? Is it possible?
No.
Because, I mean, they kind of have this year, though. I mean, they have crushed everybody.
Since Cocalico.
Since that Cocalico game, it has not been competitive.
That's kind of true. It's been a little bit under the radar by Manheim Central standards, which I would have thought was not possible.
Yeah,
but hey, they're here. And
they can't get caught looking ahead. They know who's there.
Yeah, the looming monster in this class is Bishop McDevitt for everybody, and Manheim Central would not see them until the final.
Yeah,
we could get an LL semifinal. If Manheim wins, they get Elko or Twin Valley.
Or Twin Valley. And I'd love to see that matchup. That'd be a fun game.
3A, we have Wyomissing versus Schuylkill Valley, another all LL game. And Wyomissing is the number 1 seed. Their only loss was to Cocalico. Schuylkill Valley, beaten by Lancaster Catholic in Week 10, bounced back a little bit last week, Jason.
Big for them. That's another program to get a district win is a huge accomplishment.
Yep.
Wyomissing and Schuylkill Valley, Old Berks, 2 rivals for a long time. Those games did not go well for Schuylkill Valley. I mean, one of the reasons they're more successful now is they're not in a division with powerhouse teams like Wyomissing. So now they sort of get to measure the success they've made. 9-2. Now, how do they compare with the great teams that used to be on their schedule all the time, and the teams they'll have to, contend with to win district championships.
And again, it's going to come down to defending the run at a high level, whether they can do that to hang around.
Wyo going for 5 in a row in this bracket. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
And the other one is Lancaster Catholic and West Perry. West Perry is 9-1. Their only loss was to the Rollers, Steel High, which is Class A, but a very good Class A, defending state champion, etc. And Catholic has been really good the last couple weeks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Beat Schuylkill Valley, held them to 4 first downs to get a share of Section 5. Rematch. West Perry came to Lancaster last year and really axed Catholics. They put 63 points up, and then they gave up 63 the next week against YO. Bit of a different competitor, but I'm anxious to see if this is in Catholic's heads at all. Like, here we go again with this team that scored 60 on us last year.
Yeah,
we shall
see. Catholic will probably be the underdog here, but the one thing I always look at is, can you defend against good teams? And they have done that. Catholic has done that.
Top defense in Section 5.
Yeah.
Marcus Quaker's the quarterback for West Perry. 1,500-yard passer, 1,000-yard rusher. So that kid can do a lot. 30 plus combined touchdowns. So Catholic's got to defend here and get some points.
Where are you going?
Friday night, Denver. Conestoga Valley at Cocalico. That should be a lot of fun. Saturday, I'm going to the big city. Cedar Crest at Harrisburg. Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Jason? New Holland.
New Holland, fabulous New Holland.
Rematch.
That should be fun. You're covering that Michigan game or something.
Yeah, Michigan coming to town. And expect heavy surveillance for that game.
Keep an eye on those guys on the side.
I'll try. I'll bring the binoculars. All right, gang, that's it. This has been the LL Football Roundtable. Next week, there will be district semifinals, district quarterfinals, all kind of stuff. And we'll have a lot more to talk about, I'm sure, because there's still going to be some Lancaster League teams dancing. So that's then. This is now. Again, LL Football Roundtable brought to you by Auto House of Lancaster. For Jason and Jeff and Mike, see ya.